Serbia, a country smack center in the Balkans, known for its terrific food, majestic scenery, and controversial tennis player, amongst other things. There are many things to love about it. Hell, the flag has one sick design as well. But now that I'm looking at it, it does seem a bit off. Wait a minute. Oh my god, is that Russia? It's no secret that Russia and Serbia are two countries that sort of have a hard-on for one another. Leave a Serb alone in Moscow with no money and he'll come back a father. While if you leave a Russian in Belgrade, they'll come back having paid 900 euros for a 10-meter squared hole in a wall, thinking it was a good deal. It's also no secret that the two countries are quite similar. Throughout Europe, the two have a reputation of being warmongering drunks who are despised by virtually all their neighbors except some pseudo-Asian chuds. Which shouldn't be that big of a surprise considering that the two countries both belong to the greater ethno-linguistic group of the Slavs, which is also why their languages are quite similar. But just how similar are they? Well, I'm glad you asked, cause in this video we'll be going over just that.
Mark 1, what the hell?
Now, as I mentioned, both Russians and Serbs belong to the Slavic ethno-linguistic group. However, the Slavs are divided into three branches: the Southern, the Western, and the Eastern Slavs. Although, at first glance, these languages appear similar to one another, they differ quite a bit from each other depending on which group they fall into. Languages in the same subgroup will be more similar and will have higher mutual intelligibility with one another compared to Slavic languages from two different subgroups. Russian falls in the Eastern Slavic subgroup, alongside Belarusian and Ukrainian, while Serbian in the Southern, with Slovene, Croatian, and Bulgarian. What's interesting about the South Slavic subgroup is that it further divides into two additional subgroups: Southwestern and Southeastern. The Southeastern group encompasses Bulgaria and Macedonia, while Southwestern, Serbo-Croatian, their bastard offspring, and Slovenian. Although the two subgroups are in the same subgroup, Southwestern languages are closer to Western Slavic languages than to Southeastern ones, according to new linguistic research. As such, Serbian and Russian are quite different from one another. Well, as different as Slavic languages can be, in reality, there are still numerous similarities between the two, as is the case with all Slavic languages. The most obvious of the similarities between the two languages is the vocabulary. As all Slavs used to speak the same language, known today as Proto-Slavic, up until the 6th century, there is a buttload of cognates and similar words in all languages, such as the words for water, voda, city, grad, earth, zemlja, head, glava, eye, oko, and so on and so forth. In writing, the similarity of the vocabulary can be quite obvious. However, the languages start to diverge when it comes to pronunciation. A problem pretty common not just between Serbian and Russian, but also regarding any language. Pronunciation is very important, but also difficult to master. And I should know, since after 3 whole years of living in Romania, my wonderful adoptive country, I still can't seem to pronounce Romanian words correctly. A fact which I'm reminded of an almost daily basis by you wonderful people on the internet. If only there was a smooth, reliable, and practical way to learn a language using iconic or well-known movies, videos, and other media. That's why I am genuinely excited to partner with FluentU. Seriously, this app and website tackles those exact problems head-on, making the language learning experience much more enjoyable and seamless. FluentU helps you learn languages using real videos, like movies and TV shows, music videos, news clips, you know, stuff you'd actually want to watch. You get interactive subtitles, and if you don't know a word, just hover over it, and FluentU instantly gives you the definition and image, pronunciation, example sentences, and even shows you other videos where the word is used. It's incredible for building vocabulary naturally. And get this, they have a Chrome extension that lets you do the same thing on Netflix movies and shows, or YouTube videos that have subtitles. You can even scroll through the app's curated video libraries suitable for beginner and intermediate level learners. For example, using FluentU, I can watch the Netflix hit show Squid Game, have a laugh with the hilarious Russian dub, and observe basic and accurate Russian speech at the same time. Plus, it's not just about watching content and looking up words. If you want to really hone in on learning languages efficiently, FluentU has this really smart review system with quizzes that builds you up from understanding words to actually forming sentences. It's available on web, iOS, and Android too. Click on the link in the description to get a free 14-day trial and a 40% discount after. If you're serious about mastering a language and want a way to stay motivated using authentic content, I can't recommend FluentU more. It's a true game changer for learning any language. So don't waste any time and check out FluentU today. Another glaringly obvious similarity is that both utilize the Cyrillic script in their language. Developed in the 9th century by the esteemed Byzantine missionaries Cyril and Methodius in the greatest country that has ever graced this goddamn earth, Bulgaria, the Cyrillic script spread through the Slavic world like AIDS in Botswana, quickly becoming adopted by everyone and anyone who sought knowledge in the realm of the Balkans and the Kievan Rus. For the vast majority of history, this script was the predominant one in these regions, even being adopted by non-Slavs such as the Romanians. For centuries, it was unchanged and used by everyone in practically its original form. However, this changed in the 19th century with the rise of, say it with me, nationalism! You see, although the Slavs all originally spoke the same language, and in the early days, even when individual languages were slowly diverging, they could all still more or less understand each other. But by the mid-19th century, individual Slavic languages diverged significantly that the standard Cyrillic alphabet didn't really fit the language's particular needs. As such, Serbian, alongside others, reformed the Cyrillic script to fit their particular language, as did Russian, which led to the slightly different versions utilized by the languages. But still, if you look at the Russian and Serbian Cyrillic scripts, you'll find many of the same letters as well as some that don't exist in the other. In Serbian, these are ch, j, n, l, and j, while in Russian they are yo, y, st, e, u, and ya, plus mjaki and tverdi znak and uj, the guttural pain in the ass sound. It's noteworthy to say that although they're different letters, the majority of the sounds still exist in each other's languages. They're just written differently. However, the Serbian ch, j, and l are exclusive to the language, as are the Russian uj, tverdi, and mjaki znak. I'm mispronouncing that so bad. Grammar-wise, the two languages are about 70 to 80% similar, with both more or less fundamentally functioning in the same way as the other, with the majority of the differences being cosmetic. Basically, I like to view the pronunciation over the languages as grammar the same way as a different skin on a video game character. For example, both languages lack articles. Unlike in English, where when you use a noun in a sentence, you'll put an article such as a or an or the in front of it, in Serbian and Russian, no such thing exists. Hence why CSGO players from this region will say, I'm taking gun and rushing to point, idi nahuj, instead of I'm taking the gun and rushing to the point, my good sir. In both Serbian and Russian, the word order is the typical subject-verb-object that can be flexible when desiring to stress a certain topic. Basically, the same shit you'll hear all across Europe. Adjectives and adverbs also come before the noun, and you can omit pronouns from a sentence as both languages conjugate their verbs according to which type of person is speaking, except when that person is a black woman. Then they just listen and learn. In both languages, prepositions also serve as individual words. Again, a very typical thing found in the vast majority of European languages, where words like in, at, by, on, and next to will be placed in front of a noun. However, in Hungarian, Finnish, Turkish, and Korean, most of the time they'd be added onto the word at the end. Just wanted to mention this because,
knowledge.
Most importantly of all, the foundation of how meaning is derived in both languages is via the case system, with both languages using the same 6 core cases. For those of you that like to measure things in sexual body parts and football stadiums, cases are essentially noun conjugations that indicate a certain meaning. Although English has dropped its case system, some remnants of it remain, which can be seen in its pronouns, with he turning into him in a sentence like I beat him off. He would be in the nominative case, showing that nothing is happening to the noun, while him would be in the accusative case, which would tell us that an action is being done to this noun. With that being said, in many non-Slavic European languages, there will typically be around 4 cases in a language. In Slavic ones, the standard is 6, those being nominative, accusative, dative, genitive, locative, and instrumental. The same is the case with Russian. However, although Serbian has these 6, it also has an additional 7th case, vocative, which was dropped off by the majority of other Slavic languages and is used when calling for someone.
Stane!
Molim.
Opalim te golim!
Fun fact, Romanian also still sort of uses this case occasionally, proving yet again that the Serbs and Romanians are the best of friends. Essentially, the grammar concepts used in both languages are more or less practically the same, with the major difference being different vocabulary for these grammatical words. This isn't exclusive to just Serbian and Russian, but more or less all Slavic languages, which is why native speakers of one Slavic language can easily learn another in just a short period of time, as again, the majority of the learning process is just memorizing different vocab for language concepts they're already very familiar using. Hence why I say more or less same video game character, just different skin. But that's not to say that there are no differences at all. The two languages are ultimately unintelligible to one another. First and foremost, although both languages still utilize Cyrillic, Serbian also officially utilizes the Latin script as well, while Russian does not. In Serbia, both scripts are seen as equal. Technically, Cyrillic is more equal than Latin, as that's a script used for official government documents, but if you request any of them in Latin, you will receive them in that form. Grammar-wise, one of the main differences is the use of the verb to be. In Serbian, as is the case in most languages, to be is a verb like any other that has its conjugation for every tense. In Russian, this is not the case. In the land deprived of warm water ports, the verb to be is only used in the past and future tense, but omitted in the present tense, which makes the speaker sound like a caveman when trying to explain what they are. I, YouTuber. You, viewer. Alcoholism prevalent in Russia. This difference can also be seen in past tense formation. In Serbian, when conjugating a verb in the past tense, the verb to be is used as a participle and helping verb. Sort of how English uses the same verb in the indefinite past tense. I was writing, except that in Serbian this is also done in the past definitive tense as well, being equivalent of the English I was wrote. Russian says screw that and has single verb conjugations for both the past definitive and indefinitive tenses. Another big difference is with pronunciation. Slavic languages, for the most part, are phonetic when it comes to their spelling. However, although Russian is kind of phonetic as well, it's not really, due to a thing known as vowel reduction. Hence why I like to call Russian the French of the Slavic languages. To give you a better picture of the issue, in Serbian, every letter will be pronounced the same no matter the situation, a thing for which Serbs are very proud of their language and alphabet for. In Russian, this isn't the case. Every word has a dedicated stressed vowel, and depending on whether or not a vowel is stressed, it will impact its pronunciation. This mainly affects a handful of vowels such as O, which when stressed is pronounced as O, but when unstressed as A. Ye, when stressed is ye, but unstressed sounds like E. And same goes for A, which when stressed is A, but sometimes when unstressed can also sound like E. So, When learning to read Russian, you need to memorize which vowels are stressed in a word, which can be quite a bit annoying, especially as there's no real pattern and the stressing of vowels is quite random. Also, this can sometimes happen with the letter G, which usually is read as G, but sometimes it might be pronounced as H. Other than that, the languages don't have many other major grammatical structural differences. Most others are just minor things, such as Russian omitting prepositions here and there, where Serbian wouldn't. Serbian using subject pronouns a bit more than Russian, and the two languages calling the perfective and imperfective forms differently. All in all, although the two languages are not mutually intelligible, they are structured similarly enough that with little effort of learning new vocabulary, native speakers of both Russian and Serbian could easily become conversational and even fluent in each other's language. Minor differences exist, but they're nothing that can't be easily gotten used to. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like and smash that subscribe button. And if you really did, become a member like these wonderful people. My name is Janusz, and you've watched Living Ironically in Europe.
Hey, why are